Hey folks, Joe here. So, video coming up is on a 3-day bicycle adventure that I did a while back. Spent over a year and a half trying to find a new bike to buy. Finally got a Trek 520 Grando. Bought it out of town, had it shipped in. Absolutely loving the new bike, and this adventure coming up, 3 days. 2 days of riding, was 1 day just enjoying camp life in between. Had good meals, a couple drinks, had a lot of fun, campfire time, just had a blast. Can hardly wait to do it again. Done 2 other trips since then, and I'll get some longer videos up on those later on as well. I just finished putting this all together and just putting the finishing touches on it, and going to get it uploaded for you right away. All packed up and ready to go for the first adventure on the new Trek 520 Grando. So yeah, I just got this bike a few weeks earlier, and this is the first adventure on it, hopefully the first of many. I'm really excited about it, and ended up having a fantastic time. First break, roughly 20 kilometers into the ride, pausing by the Slate River to have a Snickers bar and stay energized. Having fun so far. Alright, so it's Friday afternoon, September 10th, and we're on this back road in northwestern Ontario. About to get off the pavement finally. We're 42.5 kilometers into the ride. Finally going to get this bike on some gravel for this bikepacking trip. Should have about another 7 kilometers or so to go to the area that I hope to find a place to set up camp. I don't know how good this camera is going to be mounted on the handlebars like this. Might be kind of rattly, a lot of vibrating, but we'll give it a shot for a little bit, and I'm going to turn it off, eat up these last kilometers, and then we'll get some more footage going a little later on. Yeah, I'm going to love riding some of these back roads in northwestern Ontario. Well, we just finished a pretty nice climb. That was fun. Continuing on, I believe we go to the right. Yeah. Dead end road, no exit. I don't know if the camera picked that up or not. Getting real close to the end now. We'll be setting up camp in a few minutes. And here we are at a little bay on beautiful Lake Superior along the Canadian North Shore. And somewhere along here I'll be setting up the tent in the next few minutes. The last half kilometer or so was pretty interesting. I'll have some pictures and video of that over the next couple days as well in parts 2 and 3. So just going to have the steaks for now, and then after that snack on some munchies, have a beer, maybe a glass of wine. I brought a couple beer with me, a liter of wine, and yeah, I'm starving. Let me get these steaks going. Okay, I moved my stove down here behind this piece of wood. There's a little bit of breeze. I wanted to get it away from that. Here you see a few beers I have. One more and a liter of wine up here. That is not all for tonight. That's for over the course of the next 3 or 4 days. Over here, this is how I got here. This is my brand new Trek 520 Grando touring bike. I got it a week and a half ago. A few test rides around town, a little bit of running around, and this is the first real test of it. Put in about 50 kilometers today. Cycling clothes drying out. Cycling shoes over here. And I'll just show you some of the views. Slowly turning around. Some real nice cliffs off in the distance. I'm going to zoom in, see if those will show up a little bit. See those? And back there some more. Zoom back out. Here's the front view coming up of the kitchen area. Somebody built a wooden structure here some time ago. Don't know who. And over here is my tent. It's not staked out yet, but it soon will be. It's a North Face Rock 22. Inside is my Thermarest sleeping pad, my Marmot sleeping bag, and a few odds and ends just piled in there for now. I'll get those cleaned up soon. Just down at the end here, that's the mouth of a river, and the plan was to be camped up the river a few hundred meters, but I didn't get here in time today to go try and find the place I scoped out a few years ago. I'll do that later. You're probably wondering what lake this is, and it's Lake Superior, the largest freshwater lake on Earth. But anyways, that's where I am. Feeling pretty good, tired and hungry, so I'm going to get back to that steak and get that going. Chow time. Time to have a couple of good steaks and wash that all down with a good beer, 3-speed beer in this case. Alright, time to serve up some steaks. Turn my stove off, set that aside. Now look at those bad boys. Seasoned sirloin teriyaki sauce. Now this is going to taste good. If that hits the spot. Now seeing as this is a cycling trip, beer I'm having tonight, 3-speed lager. You gotta like it. I'll be back later. Got a little fire going. Hey folks, so I had my steaks. Those were really good, hit the spot, snacking on a few mixed nuts, things like that. Get my energy back, so I'll be ready to go tomorrow. Still nursing that first beer. After that, I think I'm going to have a glass of wine, enjoy my campfire for another hour or two, then probably going to head into the tent fairly early tonight. What do you think of this view? Lake Superior, huh? I don't think I'll be camping here again tomorrow. I'm probably going to be going into the woods a couple hundred meters back this way and working my way up along the river. There's a spot up there I found a few years ago I want to set up a little camp at, something probably nobody's ever going to stumble onto. So that's what I'll probably do tomorrow. Sleep in a little bit, get up, put the coffee on, start making a breakfast, slowly, gradually break camp, load up the bike, and get at it. Anyways, that's it for tonight, and I will talk to you again tomorrow. So it's day 2 of a 3-day bikepacking adventure on Lake Superior in northwestern Ontario. Time to get up and make myself some really good breakfast. Come on along and watch. So we're going to start the day with breakfast, of course. So what we're going to do is we're taking all dehydrated ingredients and we're going to make it into our breakfast, and we're going to get this going. Start off by boiling up some water, pour that in, and let it rehydrate, and we'll show you some video on the whole process. Hold on. Hey folks, so it's Saturday morning. We had a nice little thunderstorm overnight, pretty hard rain at times, but it's kind of nice now, mostly sunny. Pop this guy off here, boil up some water, make myself a cup of coffee. I could not find my coffee press at home and getting my gear ready, so instant it is for today. But that'll do. We are roughing it. Now while that water was boiling up, I also got out some of the dehydrated foods here. Some hash browns, there's some lean ground beef, a bunch of mushrooms, and a bunch of bell peppers all dehydrated. I'm going to load that up with some water, put a lid on it, let these start rehydrating for a little while I have my first coffee or so. And then we're going to fry them up for breakfast. I don't want too much water in there, just covering them and just a bit. That's all we really want. Give that a little stir. And then we'll cover it up. And I'll be right back in 1 second. I got to grab something. Here I come. Don't go away. Going to cover over this bowl here, help insulate it a little bit, hold in some of that heat, get her rehydrating a little bit quicker. Now, it was cloudy last night while I was hanging out in camp before going to bed. Excuse me for squinting here, but the bright sun is right in my eyes right now. But it was cloudy when I went to bed. I saw maybe 4 stars. Middle of the night, woke up, saw the sky was just full of stars. So I got up, sat around for about an hour or so, just took in the night sky, and it was pretty awesome. Anyways, I'm going to enjoy my coffee, and we'll be back to talk to you again a little bit later. So here's the hash browns, peppers, mushrooms, and ground beef, pretty much all hydrated back up and ready for the fry pan. Right now I just got a pot of water back on there. I'm going to boil that up for a second coffee, and I'm going to get the breakfast going. Okay, so we got this water boiling hard. Turn that down a little bit. Grab the coffee. Can't go camping without the coffee. That's just wrong. That guy over there. Pop the lid. And load her up into my titanium mug. Set that aside for later. Excuse me there while I grab the lid. Coffee, a little stir. Now I need my skillet. Balance that up there. A little heat to her. Olive oil. And it's time to add the breakfast. Dehydrated hash browns, bell peppers, mushrooms, and ground beef. So that's on the menu for today. Level this off a little bit better here. First started doing this stuff back in 2004, getting ready for a 6-month-long solo canoe trip. Did a lot of dehydrating that spring, my God. Anyways, we're going to let this cook up. I'm going to enjoy my second coffee, and we'll be back when it's done. A little bit of red hot seasoning mix here, spice her up a little bit. I do have a thing for spicy food. And just stir it up a little bit, or as I say to my dogs back home when mixing up their food, swizzle. Swizzle it up. Look at that, that's going to be good. It's got a ways to go yet. We're getting there. So here's my breakfast all cooked up and ready to go. This was really, really good too. Okay, these guys are just about done. I just tried a bite and it's tasting pretty good. I think I forgot to mention earlier that in addition to dehydrated hash brown potatoes, peppers, mushrooms, and ground beef, there's also dehydrated onions in there. I do all this at home in the kitchen, as I mentioned earlier, and I think I'm ready to eat. So I will scoop this up, and we're in business. Turn off the stove. Put coffee aside there a little bit. Fork. The plate. Now we're going to scoop her out. There will be no leftovers. Fact. I'd like to have had some eggs with this, but I had a half dozen eggs packed up in one of those plastic egg containers. And I was in the bike ready to go. I noticed they were just rattling like crazy. I knew that was going to drive me crazy. So for my next trip, I either have to dehydrate some eggs at home or buy some pre-dehydrated eggs and bring those with me. So we'll try that next time. This is good. This is really good. I'm going to turn off the camera, save my battery, and I'll be back later. So after breakfast, went for a short walk along the trail leading down here, the rougher section, just to check it out again. So right here, we're about 400 meters from Jarvis Bay. You can see this rocky section down below here. That's one of the fun parts of the ride. Heavily loaded touring bike and all. Looking back up the hill further, and we'll continue on up. This is just 40 or 50 meters in off the main gravel road, and you can see how it went from nice gravel into this stuff. And with the road touring bike, kind of a gravel bike setup, fully loaded, first time doing bike tour in a while, bike packing, I decided to play it safe and walk down this first section here. I rode down part of it, but pretty bumpy. I'm going to record a little bit of this tomorrow as I'm bringing the bike back up here. Be riding sections and then I'll be walking sections, no doubt. A number of years back, I think I would have been able to ride the whole thing even with a heavy load on, but been a while, and I gotta build that back up, and that is going to happen. And I found this just down the beach from where I'm camped and into the woods. Somebody made themselves a shelter. Let's check it out. Hey folks, just walking along the beach here on the bay that I'm camped out in down in Jarvis Bay. Earlier today, while out gathering firewood, I glance off to my right and I see this. Let's go take a look. Somebody did some shelter building in here. This is only about, I'd say about 100 meters, maybe less, from where I'm camped out. We'll come up here, take a little look. A little fire pit down in the ground. A little bench for sitting down, relaxing. Another bench. And here's the shelter. I'll walk you around part of it. Bear with me here. I may edit some of this out. So, cut log construction, all tarped over. Lots and lots of holes in the tarps. We had thunderstorms this morning, and when I stumbled on this while gathering firewood, well after the rain stopped, parts of the ground were soaked. You can still see some dark spots where it's still wet. Let's go over to the other side. I don't know how that's going to show up in the lighting. Lighting looks fairly bad for this angle. Again, lots of holes in the tarp. The back end doesn't look too bad for holes. Mainly the top, which isn't surprising, and a couple of the sides. There's the view looking out. Let's get right in the front of this thing. And there's the view you'd have looking out. And here's a look at the inside. And there's one of the sides from the outside. And a view of the fire pit and one of the benches. You get a glimpse of the lake in the upper left corner. So yeah, I just thought I'd do a real quick video on this, nothing too long. A lot of people don't like these things. Some people find them kind of interesting. The blue tarp, so they do make it look ugly. I don't really care for that part of it, but hey, oh well. I recently did a video on dehydrating pasta sauce, and that went great. And now, here's a video where I took it with me on a camping trip. I'm camped on the shores of Lake Superior, and I'm going to use this sauce and some other dehydrated ingredients and make up some sauce and have a hot meal of pasta on the beach in Lake Superior. So before we get started with some meal making, I'll show you my campsite first. Here I have the tent set up, North Face Rock 22, and here's the fire pit looking out over Lake Superior. This is Jarvis Bay, a small portion of Lake Superior, obviously. And if you're wondering how I got here, this is it, my new Trek 520 Grando touring bike. Let's get started. Hey folks, Joe here. So it's Saturday afternoon, September 11th, and I'm going to start getting ready for my supper. Tonight we're having pasta, a bit of macaroni with dehydrated pasta sauce. Take some of this out here. Break it up, put it into this container. Everything in this bag is from one large jar of pasta sauce I dehydrated about a week ago. Knew I had this trip coming up. So we're going to put roughly half of it in, maybe a little bit more. Just bear with me a second. Good, we'll save the rest of this for another time, add to something else. When it's all done and the pasta's cooked up and I'm ready to mix it, got a little bit of leftover cheddar cheese here I'm going to break up, put that in. What we're also going to do, we've got a bag of dehydrated peppers and mushrooms right here. Going to add a little assortment of that. Just build up the pasta a little bit. And we got two more ingredients to put in here. I got some dehydrated onions. These add a nice little flavor. That should be good for the onions. Don't need too many. So this bike packing trip, it's nice to try and keep the weight down a little bit. one more ingredient. Here it is. Dehydrated extra lean ground beef. Did this up specially for this trip a while back, not too long ago. So we're going to turn this into a meat sauce. Now what I'm going to do next is I got a bit of water in this pot here. I'm going to light up the, I don't know if you can still see me if I'm standing up. I'm going to light up my Brunson stove, bring this water to a boil, pour in just enough to cover this over with a little bit of water on top, not too much so. And then we're going to put a lid on it. This guy right here, wrap it up. There's a bit of a warmer, insulate it a little bit. And I'm going to let that hydrate for a while, and then I'm going to start my pasta. Just light up the stove. Once that's at a boil, I'll show you how much water I'm going to put in it. I'll be right back. Okay, so we got that at a hard boil. We're going to turn that off. Take the lid off. Put that over there so you can see it. I don't know if you can see me. That doesn't matter. Just tilt that down a bit. Just going to put in enough water to just cover it over. That should be more than enough. Take my spoon, just stir it around a little bit, get it started. And then we're going to cover it over. And we're going to let that start rehydrating while I get a few other things done around camp. Just to keep it nice and warm, we're going to wrap it up. Hold that heat in there a little bit more. Let her dehydrate. Here's a quick look at it before adding the boiling water. The dehydrated pasta sauce, ground beef, mushrooms, peppers, onions, etc. Also a little bit of celery. All dehydrated at home and ready to go. Hey folks, so I got the stove back on. I'm heating up a pot of water to cook up my pasta. I just checked on the pasta sauce. It's pretty much ready to go. I'll give you a little look at that. Nice and thick, nice and chunky. Taste test, delicious. I'm going to cover this over, just keep it warm. Still pretty nice and warm for now. Once the pasta is cooked, I'll drain the pasta, dump the sauce in, mix it up, and just hold that over the heat a little bit just to bring that sauce back up to the right temperature. And then we're good to go. Sorry if I kept glancing over this way. I thought I heard an engine of some sort, maybe a four-wheeler coming or something. I had two of them pass by earlier today, both nice people. Anyways, I'm going to keep an eye on this, and I'll be back when it's done. Okay, well the water came to a boil. I've got the pasta on. You can probably hear that stove's blazing away. And I'd say about 10 minutes, it'll be ready to drain and add the sauce. Now what I should have done, and I planned to do, but just ran out of time while getting ready for this trip, I should have cooked the pasta at home and then dehydrated it on the dehydrator. If I had done that, then when mixing up the pasta sauce to rehydrate, add the dehydrated pasta right in with it. Same process, cover with hot water, cover it over, let it sit for a while, done. You save a lot on fuel, and it's a little faster as well. So next time I'm going to try and get that done. Just ran out of time. I wanted to get on this trip a couple days before I did. It just kept getting put off a day. So finally, I'm out of here. Got to get this going. Anyways, I'll be back when this is done and you can see the end product. Okay, folks. Pasta has been drained. Sit down here. Add my sauce. This is looking really good. I'm going to scoop that all right in. Mix in a little bit of our spicy seasoning. Why not? And I got this piece of cheddar cheese. Just going to chop off a few little pieces here. It's been sitting in the sun. It's pretty soft. Still fine. finish this cheese up later tonight with a glass of wine. That is my plan. Right now, stir this up a little bit. The sauce has been sitting a little bit, still nice and warm, but I just want to give her a touch of heat on the stove as I stir it. I got the stove set to real low. I think I did up a bigger batch here than I thought I was going to. Some of this might be leftovers for the ride back to home tomorrow. Turn that off. And supper is ready. I am starving. Had a busy day. This sauce came out really, really good this time. When I get home, a couple days after this trip, I'll be putting on another batch or two of pasta sauce. Start getting ready for the next trip. And I also want to cook up the pasta and dehydrate that as well, like I was mentioning earlier. So anyways, I'm going to cut off the camera for now. Enjoy my pasta. Finish off this water. Feeling a little bit dehydrated still from the ride yesterday. Didn't drink enough water on the way out. That's on me. After that, seeing as I do woodworking, first beer for tonight, Woodhouse Lager beer. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Just going to set that down in the shade until I'm ready for it. And here is the finished product. It came out really good. I did cook more than I needed, and I ended up saving about half of it for the next day for leftovers to eat on the ride back to town, and it came out really good. Hey folks, so it's 20 after 5, Saturday, September 11th. Just finished my supper of the pasta with the dehydrated pasta sauce. Came out great. This container is almost full with leftovers. I'm going to save that for tomorrow for the ride home. Get hungry along the way. I'm going to have a good breakfast here first. But get hungry, start running out of energy. I'm just going to have a cold snack, pull over the side of the road, load up on pasta, drink some fluids, and continue on. It's about a 50-kilometer ride. What I got here now is the last of my cheese. Still got quite a few crackers. I'll eat some of those tonight as snacks, not all of them. And for the bag of mixed nuts, we got about half a can. I'm going to have some of those. I love the cashews in there especially. Still got some wine, that's more than half full. Here's that first beer I'm going to have. I got another one set aside if I choose to have another after. Flashlight and lantern. That doesn't really look all that impressive while it's still light out. Maybe I'll show you that later if I think of it. Get my reading glasses, get my cell phone. I didn't think I'd get a cell phone signal out here at all, but I do. If I just slip into the woods here 20 feet, no signal. Out here, seems to get a pretty okay signal at times. And I got my book. It's kind of a big book for bringing on a trip like this, but I just started reading it recently, and it's really good. It's a sci-fi series. There's 9 books in total. It's called The Expanse. It's also on Amazon Prime. But I say never judge a book by its movie. Although the movie series actually is pretty good. But I started reading this a while back. It's about colonizing the solar system, Mars, the asteroid belt, the outer planets, etc. All kinds of drama, and it's kind of good if you like that kind of stuff. Got a little bit of water here I want to finish off. Got the bug dope if I need it. So far, I have not seen a mosquito on this trip. There were a few black flies this afternoon when it was at the hottest, but that's it. Got my bear banger here just in case. Got my bear spray just out of sight over here. I'll bring that over after. That's just the hard case for my reading glasses. Down here, out of view, I think, is my food bag. I'll put that away shortly. A couple bottles of water to load onto the bike in the morning. And I'll also load this up, top it off with water before I pack up and get out of here. What I'm going to do now is turn around, face the water. I figured I'd do this part with the camera facing the water so you can see Lake Superior as well. And now I'm just going to crack a beer, turn around, do a little bit of reading, and just enjoy myself. Probably within an hour or so, I'll put the bottom leggings onto my shorts here. These are convertible pants. As the sun goes down, I'll put those on. And behind me here, That's where I had last night's fire. I got some wood gathered up, and I'm going to have another fire in a little bit, and I'll probably show you some of that too. Hey folks, so as you can see, we got the campfire going. It's 7 p.m. having a beer. I decided to have a couple glasses of wine first, which went down real smooth. And now just relaxing, probably packing up after breakfast tomorrow, break camp, and head back to town. Been a good couple days. Tomorrow will be day 3, and I guess we're going to wrap it up for 3 days for this one. Get back home, do some work, get some things done. Start planning out the next trip for hopefully within 2 weeks. Either another bike trip, maybe out here, or multi-day in the canoe out here on the big lake, or possibly one of the sea kayaks. Earlier today, I scouted out up alongside the river down this way and up, the place I have in mind for setting up a camp. Arrived too late yesterday to get that done, and didn't really feel like breaking camp today, so instead just went and scouted it all out, and got it mapped out to where I want to be. And next time I come here, I'll be doing some work on that. It's accessible by touring bike, gravel bike, bike packing, also accessible by canoe or kayak. I got a place picked out as a launch and put in takeout up the river. There's not a lot of good spots up there, but I have one. And anyways, that's about it. Let's get the fire going. I'm going to sit here, stare into the fire, and look out at the lake. Normally I'd be sitting between the fire and where the camera is right now, but I want to have the lake in the background. Cheers. Oh, and for tomorrow, I'll be getting some footage of the ride out of here. The first few kilometers are definitely the most interesting and most challenging. Some really rough roads, some good hills up and down, and then eventually making it back to the main road that'll take me into town. There's at least one good climb on that. So yeah, looking forward to the challenge. More updates coming later in the video after tomorrow's stuff. And there's just a view of tonight's campfire. We'll raise that up a bit. I'm just relaxing, having a glass of wine, had a beer, and just enjoying the weather. It is 8 p.m. Saturday night, and been a good day. Yeah, talk to you soon. Hey folks, so a while back I got asked by one of my YouTube subscribers to do a video on water filtration, how I treat my water when out on trips. So that's what we're going to do now. I've got a 1.5 liter Nalgene bottle here, empty, and I have my Catadine water filter. I'm going to open this up. This has a ceramic filter inside. Got one hose that fits in on the bottom. A little release here that snaps in, and a little floater on the bottom, and there's your water intake. Second hose. Second hose is in my hand. Okay then. And that just plugs in up here on the top. Take my shoes off and go out into the water here. This is Lake Superior. Pretty clean water as it is. Now when using these, you should pump through about 1 liter of water first. Just going to pump that right back into the lake. Run some water through it, clean it up, and then we're going to fill this, and it's going to be good to go. Probably going to edit some of this out so you don't see the whole thing. Pop that cap right in there. Simple pump action. I don't know how well my voice is carrying from here. I may have to put up some notes as well, but we'll just wing it for now. Now, I'd already primed this earlier before doing this to get it started to save time, so we're going to go right to filling up the bottle now. This will take a couple minutes, so I'm only going to show the start and finish. The rest I'm going to edit out. Almost finished here. filtered water. Put the cap back on that in a minute. That is going to be safe to drink. Pump the rest of the water out of the system here. Put this bad boy away. Unclip the bottom. And pop the top off like that. And we're going to put her back in her carrying case. I've had this cat-design filter for a good number of years, and it has always served me well. Highly recommend it. Now that's one way that I treat my water when out camping and doing trips. The other way is with water purification tablets. It's called Pristine. It's a two-part solution. You have to mix it up and so forth. I will go over that part shortly, and when I get home from this trip, I'll put it all together in a video for you. Back with the second part shortly. So that's the first part, and part 2 with the Pristine coming up next. Hey folks, so this is part 2 on the video I've been asked to do on how I treat my water. I already did the part using the water filter. This part we're going to use the purification tablets, Pristine. It's a two-part solution. And what you do is it's about 5 drops of each solution mixed into the cap that comes with it. You let that mix up and set for about 5 minutes. And then you dump it in with a liter of water, let that sit for 15 to 30 minutes. This is the 1.5 liter Nalgene bottle, so we're going to go 7-8 drops. Just like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and a little drop. We'll call that 7.5. Same thing with the other. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and a bit. I'm going to actually put that in the cap by mistake because it's stuck to the lid. We'll just do that. Get any last little bits of that solution out. A little bit of water in there to get it all going. I'm going to let that sit for about 5 minutes, and then we're going to dump it into this. Right now we'll fill this up. And we'll just let that wait here for 5 or 6 minutes, and then I'll come back to do the rest. Alright, so it's been a good 5 or 6 minutes. Take the lid off the Nalgene bottle. Get our mixed fluid here. Bring this a little closer. Just going to dump that right in. There'll still be a little bit clinging to the sides there, so I like to just dip it in, swirl a little water around, make sure I've got everything. The mixing cap goes back on top of one of the bottles. And of course the lid for the Nalgene goes back on. Shake her up a little bit, and then you simply let it sit. That'll be good to go. Hey folks, got the bike all loaded up, ready for the ride back to town. Got 50 kilometers to go, including some big uphills and some sketchy downhills. Just saying goodbye to the campsite from the last 2 nights. There's my little remnants of the fire pit. View out on the lake. Beautiful Lake Superior. The tent was right behind that pair of logs right there, sandwiched in there. And nice seating area. It is almost noon, Sunday, September 12th. Let the good times roll. Just a heads up, towards the end of this video, I'll be doing a little bit of a chat from a few days after the trip, talking about the next trips coming up and things like that. So stay tuned for that. Canoe trips and cycling trips and my thoughts on how this trip went. So that's towards the end. Little did I know, a few weeks later, I'd be portaging a canoe out through this road as well. Who knew? Yeah, the old road's a little bit damp here and there, a couple of puddles. Nothing but fun, though. Yeah, this is one of those steeper, rougher sections, quite rocky. Figure I was going to have to walk up this one a little ways, but that's all right. We'll try it again next time. So that's what we just came up. Taking a short breather now. There were a few sections like this. We rode most of it, walked about 100 meters in all. This section from the lake up to the main gravel road just behind me, which you'll see in a second, it's 500 meters. So I actually thought I was going to be walking more of it than I did. Turn the bike around. And here we go. It's probably going to vibrate a lot. It's just a regular waterproof camera, not an action camera. We'll get a little bit here. So that 500 meters, that'll be the hardest part for the day. There are some other challenging parts coming, including a wicket downhill on this gravel road and an equally wicked climb. And then once I make my way back out to the main highway, be a couple fairly long climbs, coming down them just coasting, hitting almost 50 kilometers per hour the other day. So that's going to be a bit of a climb with this load on. Anyways, when we get around the corner here, then switch this camera off, because it's probably vibrating like crazy. I'll find out once I start doing all the editing. Maybe we'll just get up to this next corner. And we're going to put the camera away for now, before we rattle and bang it all to pieces. Well folks, I'm about 25 kilometers or so into my ride back home, roughly halfway. Starting to get a little hungry, need to switch up my water bottle, looking for a place to stop. Come along Boy Scout Road, see this little church with a picnic table outside, and I'm thinking, that looks like a good spot to pull over, have a little snack, get the energy up before finishing the push into town. So that's the plan. So this came along at a good time. So maybe 5 minutes before this, I started thinking that I should find a place to pull over and have a good little snack. And then, yeah, this came around just not too much longer. So here's the view looking down this little side road I pulled over at that the church is on, Boy Scout Road. And you can see some nice rugged hills off in the distance. That's what it's like here in northwestern Ontario. Pretty awesome, eh? What's for lunch, you may ask? Glad you asked. A little bit of leftover pasta from last night. Just that pasta sauce that I had dehydrated and made up. Lots of good calories there. That should keep me going for the next couple hours. So we're back on the road again after having a lunch break. Probably an hour and a half, 2 hours. Probably an hour and a half, 2 hours to get back the rest of the way. I said that twice because of that little hot rod that just went by. Might have muffled my voice. Beautiful day. Had a headwind pretty much all the way out on day one. Coming back, got a headwind going back all the way here on day 3. Oh well, makes for a better challenge, better test. First tour on the new bike, first bit of bike packing. May as well have headwinds all the way out and back. Why not? And we're just cruising along. A lot of farm country around here. zig and zag across the road a little bit while there's no traffic. Show you a couple farmer fields. Let's stop and pan around, but nah, I'm gonna keep riding. It's a beautiful day. Let the good times roll. Shows up in the background looking ahead here, but some nice hills, rugged, lots of cliffs, lots of good terrain around here. Well, I'd say all in all, the bike held up and did quite well for its first trip, and I'm already looking forward to the next one. Hey folks, so I'm back home. The trip is over. I meant to get a little bit of footage of the last few minutes of the ride, but totally forgot. Just waving that bug out of the way here, don't mind that. And this is actually a couple nights later. I'm just enjoying a glass of wine here right now while I'm putting this video together. And the trip was good, had a lot of fun. Let's see, what else? I packed too much weight, that is obvious and clear. The night I got back and the next morning I weighed a lot of the individual items that I had, made a little bit of a list of that, and things to eliminate, things to change up for the next trip. And I'm hoping to get back on the road within a week and a half of right now, when this video is about to go up, and do it again. Eliminate some weight and see how it handles on the hills next time. And might actually do a video about what I'm changing, what I'm doing a little bit differently. If you're interested in seeing any of that, let me know in the comments down below. And thanks for watching. Hit the like button, do me a favor, hit subscribe.